And now for the 6 merry murderesses of the Cook County Jail and their rendition of the Cell Block Tango. Pop, 6, squish, Cicero, Lipschitz. Pop, 6, squish, Cicero, Lipschitz. Pop, 6, squish, Cicero, Lipschitz. He had it coming, he only had himself to blame. If you'd have been there, if you'd have seen it, I bet you would have done the same. You know how people have these little habits that get you down? Like Bernie. Bernie liked to chew his gum. No, not chew, pop. So, I came home this one day, and I'm really irritated and looking for a little sympathy. And there's Bernie, lying on the couch drinking a beer and chewing. No, not chewing, popping. So, I said to him, "You pop that gum one more time," and he did. So, I took the shotgun off the wall and fired 2 warning shots into his head. He had it coming, he had it coming, he only had himself to blame. If you'd have been there, if you'd have heard it, I bet you would have done the same. I met Ezekiel Young from Salt Lake City about 2 years ago, and he told me he was single. We hit it off right away, so we started living together. He'd go to work, he'd come home from work, I'd fix him a drink, we'd have dinner. Then I found out, single, he told me, single my bottom. Not only was he married, oh no, he had 6 wives, one of those Mormons, you know. So, that night, when he came home from work, I fixed him his drink as usual. You know, some guys just can't seem to hold their arsenic. He had it coming, he had it coming. He took a flower in his prime, and then he used it, and he abused it. It was a murder, but not a crime. Now, I'm standing in the kitchen carving up the chicken for dinner, minding my own business. In storms my husband Wilbur in a jealous rage. "You been messing with the milkman?" he says. He was crazy, and he kept on screaming, "You've been messing with the milkman?" Then he ran into my knife. He ran into my knife 10 times. have seen it, I bet you would have done the same. Mitt karaktäristik in it ast man Jack, a iris lacum lev gota a ferhum, en meg lexstraftam a frihet denem isagjagang, en eratan vagjok nen tudom miret monja. Uncle Sam, hoge en tetem problatam a rendoresem megmagningchinginga de nim erectic meg. But did you do it? Not guilty. He had it coming. He had it coming. My sister Veronica and I had this double act, and my husband Charlie traveled around with us. With the last number in our act, we did 20 acrobatic tricks in a row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 splits, spread eagles, backflips, flip-flops, one right after the other. Well, this one night after the show, we were down at the Hotel Cicero. The three of us boozing and living a few laughs, and we ran out of ice. So we went out to get some. I come back, open the door, there's Veronica and Charlie, doing number 17, the spread eagle. Well, I was in such a state of shock, I completely blacked out. I can't remember a thing. It wasn't until later, when I was washing the blood off my hands, I even knew they were dead. They had it coming, they had it coming, they had it coming all along. I didn't do it, but if I'd done it, how could you tell me that I was wrong? They had it coming, they had it coming, they had it coming all along. I didn't do it, but if I'd done it, how could you tell me that I was wrong? I loved Alvin Lipschitz more than I could possibly say. He was a real artistic guy, sensitive, a painter, but he always trying to find himself. He'd go out every night looking for himself, and on the way he found Ruth, Gladys, Rosemary, and Irving. I guess you can say we broke up because of artistic differences. He saw himself as alive, and I saw him dead. The dirty bum, bum, bum. The dirty bum, bum, bum. They had it coming, they had it coming, they had it coming all along. 'Cause if they used us, and they abused us, how could they tell us that we were wrong? He had it coming, he had it coming, he only had himself to blame. If you'd have been there, if you'd have seen it, I bet you would have done the same. Pop that gum one more time, single my bottom 10 times. Miert Scooch Uncle Sam, Bortombe, number 17, the spread eagle, artistic differences. I bet you would have done the same. Pop, 6, squish, Cicero, Lip